All right, guys, we've got a great webinar for you today. We've got a lot of people joining us today, so welcome to everyone. If this is your first time joining Webinar Wednesday, welcome. I am Jason there on the left, and as always, we're very lucky to be joined by David Rocklin, who is the digital strategist and so much more here at Brilliant Directories. David, thank you for taking the time to join us on the webinar.
Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Happy Webinar Wednesday, number 196, moving even closer to that big number 200. Really looking forward to today's webinar. As always, our new segment again that we tried out last week, the BD Quick Tips. So looking forward to diving into those and of course the great updates that we have to share with you all today.
Absolutely. The quick tips should be lots of fun and we should have plenty of time for Q&A today. So if you guys have questions, please save them. We should have enough time to get to everyone's questions. We are streaming on YouTube Live as well. So for those of you joining us on YouTube, welcome and thanks for joining. If you're not subscribed to the Brilliant Directories YouTube channel, I recommend taking a quick moment. We can drop the link in the comments for you here. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube and click on that subscribe button. It's a great way to get notified as soon as these webinar replays are available, the tips of the week, the quick tips, and also any feature tutorials that we post up on there as well. And also the YouTube Live replay will be posted in the Brilliant Directories Facebook group for those who couldn't join us live. We also recommend that you join us there. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. We'll also drop that link in the comments for you as well. It's amazing how much this group has grown and how positive and constructive the topics are. So if you need help with your site from fellow membership website owners, it's a great place to bounce off ideas, kind of share where you're at in the stage of your membership website's journey. I'm in there myself answering questions, trying to provide some guidance. It's a little bit different than the reaching out to the support team for technical support. This is more about growth strategy and marketing and kind of getting feedback on your idea to make sure you're going in the right direction. So it's a super supportive group, brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. You can join there. And just a small plug, if you have a BD site and you don't have the app yet, it's a great way to stay updated with your BD site on the go. Just search for Brilliant Directories in either of the app stores, or you can follow the URLs on the screen here, brilliantdirectories.com/Apple app or Google app. And yeah, we have a great turnout today. I do see some new names and faces out there, so welcome to everyone. Just a little bit about Webinar Wednesdays before we dive into some of the updates we're going to share. You know, week after week, we're pushing new features, new updates, fixes into the platform. And big shout out to the BD community. A lot of them are because of the feedback that you provide to our team. And what we like to do in Webinar Wednesday is cover some of those updates, especially the ones where you can take actionable steps to potentially help grow your community a bit quicker. You'll see the topics here, such as increasing traffic, converting visitors to members, revenue opportunities, and more. So if you have questions on these topics or any topic for your membership website, maybe you're stuck on something, you're trying to figure something out, type those questions into the comments, and also we can unmute your microphone. We have a method for doing that as well in this webinar format. All right, lots of good updates. Let's dive into the BD Lab updates for just a moment. There are quite a few of them here. I'll try to breeze through this list for you guys. Starting right there at the top, you know, the last year we have started adding languages that you can start your website in. So if your site is in Spanish, when you're setting up your site and configuring it, you can have all the front end text, about 95% of it start in that language, Spanish. Now we're up to 33 languages that you can select as your primary language and have your site start in. That covers about 90% of cases. There's obviously more of them. The new ones we've recently added are actually a Spanish specifically for Spain. It's different than Mexico, for example, a Slovenian, Slovak, and Albanian. Let me just quickly show you guys. This is mainly if you're setting up your site at the beginning, but generally, or you'll either use the setup wizard, or if you can do it in the general settings after the fact. But if you come to general settings and go to localization, I'm just do a quick text test here. I always like to do Japanese, seeing the different characters. You can now click this button, use same language for text labels. That's the language on the site. And basically everything except the menus, you can change your main menu. You're probably going to change that anyways. And a few other small places, all the language should change. This is a bad example here, but we can see here that the text in the search is in Japanese. Now, I've already thoroughly edited this demo site here, and we could see more text here. Mainly the title text and menu need to be translated. But there are 33 languages now. And yeah, if you guys come up with more that aren't available, just email the support team. We'll be adding those as requested at this point. All right, this next one here, you guys don't need to do anything about it. It's related to image optimization. When you or your members upload images to posts, like their blog articles or their profile photos, they might upload immensely large file sizes for those images. And the BD system does render those down. It optimizes them to a preferred size for your website. But there are rare cases where the optimized version, the BD optimized version, sometimes will actually be a larger file size than the original one that was uploaded. So we've created a case where if that is the situation, where if the original one is a smaller file size after going through our optimization, we'll keep the original one, and this will help sites load even faster over time. Just a small detail, but every bit helps. All right, this next one is for the web designers out there. If you're creating landing pages or coding in Brilliant Directories, we've added a new subtle class. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But basically for alerts, badges, and labels, actually, you can have a lighter, modern look for those elements, badges, alerts, and labels. Let me show you what that looks like here. I think I have an image. Yeah, this is just an image here of what it kind of looks like. But the darker ones are the regular alerts, as an example, and then the subtle ones are the more subtle ones, exactly what they say. So you would just add a hyphen subtle, again, for our web designers out there. So if you're doing an alert, you could do alert success hyphen subtle. You could do label success hyphen subtle for labels, and the same thing for badges. We do like the looks of these. It adds a little bit of nuance touch, little modern touch. So actually in the main BD design framework, we're going to be looking for places where we can apply this subtle class to those elements such as subtle. Generally for tags and alerts, though, these work great. All right, I think I mentioned this in the previous webinar, but it was on its way to be coming soon. You can now basically add emojis anywhere when you're creating titles. This was a limitation. They weren't saving properly in the database. You were going to see 3 or 4 question marks after saving your changes. But now emojis can be used in the text editors, in the admin, and titles. I'll show you a quick example. I like using emojis a lot. Doing it very tastefully is good, but having access to that is huge. So let me go to this web page. It's just a simple web page I created. And just to give you an example here. So a couple things. One is in the admin, you'll now see that you can choose emojis in the text editor, but it doesn't stop there. You can actually, if you just add a cat here, you can actually add them into the titles, the H1s, the H2s. This goes along with emails as well. And even if you really wanted to, sometimes people do it for an attention grabber, you can add it to the meta title or meta description as well. Google does pick those up from what I've seen, and we can save the changes. It can even add it to the URL, I think. Let's see here. I'm going to push the limits with emojis right now. Yeah, there you go. So there's like a cat in the emoji there. I don't know how stable that is across different browsers, but it is saving and it is working. So you guys all have access to that now. So go ahead and play with all the emojis. They're awesome. All right, this next one is for the developers. With the Brilliant Directories API, there is now a search function for members and posts. The post one was just recently released. We haven't even updated the documentation on it. But what this allows you to do is you can, with the API, you can actually do member searches and post searches, just like you were doing them on the front end of your website. The return will either be a JSON or HTML output. Again, this is more for the developers there, but basically effectively what this does is it will allow you to do a search on other websites, that you can search your Brilliant Directories website for members and posts on another website and actually see those results on third-party websites. This is also very effective for app development. If you want to have a native app, you can tap into this API for that type of behavior. And let me just quickly show you here. I think I have a link. Yeah, here's the link to the API endpoints, and we have the search for the users, which are the members. I'll just share this link in the comments. And then let me see here. There we go. Oh, did it go twice? Anyways. And we're going to be adding the documentation for the posts as well. It will we will have it for both the single image post and the multi-image post. Also noteworthy here, if you are a developer using the API, you can update post types from the API. So your blog article, like editing the post types, the unsubscribe list, and widgets as well. So you can do higher level development from remote points and update them on your BD website as well. Next one here, also related to images. Outlook was the most finicky for rendering images. They're very sensitive to the proportions and ratios of the images. We've pushed a recent update that it shouldn't email images display correctly, especially in Outlook. That seemed to be the most problematic email inbox. So if you're creating newsletters and they're looking good in Gmail, but in Outlook, the images are, either stretched or out of proportion, that should be fixed moving forward. If you are seeing issues like that, of course, report them to support team. We'll troubleshoot them. And what's best is if we can create a global fix for the entire community if we do identify an issue. All right, and the last one here, I'm super excited about. It is a new domain change wizard. So we all connect our custom domains to the Brilliant Directories website, to your Brilliant Directories website. Of course, all sites start with a staging domain, a vanitydirectoryup.com URL. And what's really cool with this new domain change wizard, and of course, you're not going to change your domain every day. You're just going to do it once. For the most part, unless you're changing projects and you need to shift focus. So what's cool with this new domain change wizard is you come to the domain manager when you're ready to connect your domain. There are instructions here. We'll actually be updating these instructions a bit just so they're a little bit more easier to follow. But there is also a video here, very easy to follow, actually, the video. But you come here to connect your domain. And before, you would just put your new domain in twice and save your changes. And whether it was properly connected or not, it would let you save your changes. And the problem was you could kind of break your own site because you've connected a domain name that is invalid or not actually pointing to your Brilliant Directories website. So a few key things about this, which I'm a huge fan of. Once you click Get Started, you have two options. You can connect your own custom domain, which is probably what you're going to do when your site is ready to go. But in the event you need to kind of, maybe you want to take your site offline, or you kind of want to just get it out of public view, or you don't want it to be connected to the old domain anymore, and you're going to connect a new domain, you can revert back to a directory up URL. Now, remember, anytime you change your domain name, the old one's not going to be connected anymore, and it's not going to be working with your Brilliant Directory site. So, make sure that this is something you want to do. But in the event you need to, you can just set up a new vanity directory up URL, and then your site will work on this domain name. So just a couple things here, and then it will change. When you're connecting your own custom domain, again, before you could just save it straight away. There's two methods right now to connect name server and a record. A record later is going to be replaced with CNAME. It's the same methodology. It's just a different way to point though. But you would have the name server a record method, and there are videos here in both with some helpful tips on which one to use when, and you can easily copy what you need out of here. I think if you just click copy, it should just do that. So it makes it a bit easier as well. And once you've set things up properly, then you can go ahead and enter your domain name. So I'll just do the same one again. All right. And I have not, you got to add a www in front of it unless it's a subdomain. So I actually haven't connected this one, but if I click to validate it, it's going to actually do a check, and it's going to say that the domain isn't configured properly. I can go back to read the instructions. I can also try again. Of course, you can reach out to the support team if you think you've done everything correctly, you're still hitting a roadblock. But what this is going to do is prevent from saving a domain name that's not actually pointing to your Brilliant Directories website, which should just create a better user experience overall. So excited about that one. And then last one listed here, tons of more updates are on the way. We actually had to leave some off this list. So just big shout out to the BD community. The majority of the updates and fixes and things we release are based on your ideas and your feedback and suggestions. So a big thank you to you guys. And yeah, with that, again, continue typing in your questions. We're starring ones that we're going to address in a bit. But with that, if it's okay, David, we can pass the reins over and you could kind of guide guide us through some of these BD quick tips that you've put together for us.
Yeah, so we started this new segment in the last webinar. Instead of having a larger tip of the week presentation on one specific topic, we figured it might be a little bit more interesting, a little bit more engaging, just to share a few quick tips, some individual settings or features that might often be overlooked in the platform. So this week, we've got 3 BD quick tips here requiring complete member profiles, available billing countries, and the maximum subcategories that members can select. So we have a couple quick tips here regarding member profiles themselves and their listings, and then one having to do more on the finance side of things, on the billing side of things here. So diving right into the first one, requiring complete profiles. We've addressed this a few times in the past, specifically in some of the Q&A segments. I don't believe we've ever had kind of a dedicated slide or information regarding this. It really is a very useful feature, one that is often overlooked in the platform. What it does is it ensures that only complete member profiles are displayed on the front end of your website in the member search results. So this, why would you actually want to do this? In some cases, when a new member registers on your website, and especially if you auto approve new members, they might not complete their profile initially. It might take them a day or two, or maybe a week before they have time to go in there and add all their information. In the meantime, you don't necessarily want to display their listing within your search results if there's no real useful information there yet. So overall, it really does help to improve the just general search quality and your website's credibility by enhancing the user experience by only showing them completed member profiles. Again, getting rid of those incomplete profiles that might not have any information or any real useful information yet. So overall, it just really helps to maintain a professional and trustworthy directory. There's 2 components to this feature. The first one is just the on-off toggle. It's within your website's general settings. There's the require complete profiles. You can just enable that individual setting. And then the default fields that are required to be filled out in order for a member's listing to display in the search results page, if this setting is enabled, are their name, their category, having a profile photo or a logo uploaded, and then also their address. So those are the default required fields in order for the listings to be displayed in search results, but you can customize which of those fields are required through an advanced setting called complete profile field. So there's just one on-off toggle, and then if you want to tweak it a little bit, you can go check out that advanced setting. But that's really all there is to this specific feature here.
Yeah, this is a great slide just for the, for covering this. Let's actually take a look at it, and I'm going to give you guys an extra tip when you are requiring complete profiles. I think it's a great idea because it kind of puts the user to work to kind of work for their listing just a little bit, especially if it's a directory of, professionals or businesses. If it's just a private member community or chat board, it's probably not as important. But again, if it's a business listing or some type of industry focused website, having those complete profiles not only helps your website look good, but gets the user involved in the process and to show that they care about the sign up that they just did. So let's go to the admin area together here. And where the setting is in your settings, general settings. Actually, let's go. This is a test site that we have, but let's go to the search results page for this site and let's see how many members there are. We're still in Japanese here. Let's keep it in Japanese for a second. That'll be fun. There we go. So it looks like there's 848 results right now. So if we go to the general settings, search settings, required complete profiles is set to no. So basically anyone who just signs up is going to show in the search results, whether they've added a profile photo, an address, anything. Let's set this to yes. And let's save the changes. I don't know how much it's going to change by, but right now we have 848. Let's refresh the page. So it went down to 497. So about 300 or 400 members didn't have the quote unquote required fields completed. And there is a link here that says view settings, because as David mentioned, you can decide and dictate which fields are required. Now, before I click this link, let me share this article here. We have it in the support center, how the required complete profile works, kind of what we're covering now. I'll drop this in the comments here. Now let me click on the link here. Oops. Here we go, view settings, and it's going to take us to directly to the advanced setting that David mentioned. And here we could see this is the complete profile fields. Now, basically, it's a comma separated list of the variables or the values that we want to have required. So right now, the company name is required, the first name, the file name. The file is the logo image. Let me zoom in a bit here. And the profession ID is the top level category. And what's really good about in this article is we do cover these system names here that you should put in that comma separated list. Scroll down here. Here we go. So the bold is it here? So these are kind of the default ones. Service is that they have to choose subcategories. But let's remove profile photo or the file one from that list and save the changes. And let's see if it goes up higher from the 497. Now probably get somewhere in between that 800 number. Oh, so back to 848. So everyone else has all the other information. And what's cool is you can actually add other things here. If you're not too familiar with it, if you go to the form manager, and yeah, this is it. So if you customize or look at the listing contact details, the listing form. So if we look at listings, there are a few of them here. Listings about, additional details. If we come here, we want to grab the system names, the database variable names for some of these. So we can do listing type. That's where they choose if they're a company or an individual. And things like that. I won't go too much. A last name. So if we wanted to make a last name required, I'll just add that to the end here and save it as an example. But that's how you can find out the system names to add to this. And for every site, it might be different. So this went lower. So most people are all companies. And now that I've put last name, it went down to 6 because there was no last name inputted for these people. It was more company names. So that's a little bit of how that works. And yeah, that article that we shared also has some good information for you guys as well.
Yeah, great setting there. A real easy, simple one just to make your search results look just a little bit more polished.
Oh, sorry, I did forget one more thing I wanted to share about that. Kind of like a bonus tip. If we go to the Brilliant Directories website, to the blog, the most important thing if you're using that setting is to educate your members that, hey, you need to complete these fields in order for your listing to go live or to be visible or searchable on our site. So we do have a video that we did previously, a tip of the week, David and I, on onboarding new members with a welcome plan. And really in this video, we talk about how in the welcome email where we greet our new signups, educating them on how they can get the most out of our site and what the next steps are also in their setup process after they do the initial registering with their email address. So I'm going to share this video in the comments too. But this is really great. Even if you're not doing required complete profiles, this welcome email is kind of your first greeting to new members. And you want to educate them on how they can get the most out of your website, what the next steps are, what actions you want them to take. If it's a classifieds website, post your first classified, give them some context and direction on how to utilize and get the most from your site. And this video here that we just shared the link of really covers that well.
Great tips there. I think giving them some easy W's right off the bat by giving them some clear instructions on what next to do with their profiles is a great tip there. Moving on to the second BD quick tip here, available billing countries. So with this, you can actually choose which countries will appear in the drop-down list as billing options when a prospective member is on one of your checkout pages. They're putting in their credit card information because they're going to be paying for one of your membership plans, for instance. So with this, you can restrict payments in essence to specific countries, and you can also prioritize frequently used countries at checkout. So you can kind of quote unquote feature countries within this list, add them to the top just to make them more easily accessible so that users don't have to scroll through maybe a long list of countries to find theirs if you have a lot of users within a particular country. And so overall with this, you can really tailor your checkout pages to your specific target markets. One important thing to keep in mind with this, however, is if you're in an area, say maybe Europe, where you have a lot of countries that are your target markets for your website, you might have individuals registering for your website. Say it might be targeted only for one country, but they might live in a neighboring country not far away. You don't necessarily want to exclude them from being able to join your website if you don't have their country listed here as one of those billing options. So just something to keep in mind, probably more of a rare instance in that case. But with this, we get a lot of questions about how can I make sure that only people from my target country are registering on my website when the website's only focused on one specific country. It's a little difficult to do that with a website on the internet, but this is one of the tools you can use kind of in your tool belt to more specifically focus on your individual target countries if you only have a handful of those for your website. And with this, again, it's a really simple option here. You just go to your finance settings, payment gateways, and then there's an additional settings drop down. And within that drop down is the billing address countries. And from there, you can set individual countries to active, not active, or again, featured if you want to kind of move them to the top of the drop down list. If you say don't want to remove any countries from there, but if your target audience is in the United States, maybe you put the United States as the first option in that list.
Yeah, let me show an example here. That was a great explanation. Thank you. So if you're on the checkout page of your site, signing up for a membership plan, and the user has to input their billing address. So this is the country selection here. Normally by default, I think it starts with the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand at the top, the United Kingdom as well, and then all the other countries below it, which is pretty standard. But again, there are cases where you might only be accepting payments from a specific country. That could be a legal thing or the way your business is set up. Or you might want to keep all the countries and just prioritize your primary country at the top there. So let me show you a few examples of how this works here. First, we only see 4 here right now. Let's add a new country in here. I'll just choose one randomly. Bahamas are fun. We all want to go there for vacationing. So let's just set that to active and save the changes. And if we refresh this page here, we should see Bahamas on the list. Oh, we're back to Japanese here. That's right. All right, I'll switch it back to English. So we see actually in alphabetical order, Australia, Bahamas, United Kingdom. These are active, but they're not featured. The 2 featured countries are New Zealand and the United States. So let's say that my main country is New Zealand. That's where our business is located. That's where the primary marketing efforts go, is in New Zealand for those members. Let's actually remove United States as a quote unquote featured country here. So we'll just look for United States. Right now it's set to featured, and then we'll set it to just active, but not featured. And when you do this, it just puts them in alphabetical order, whether they're featured or active. And that's basically how it works. So now New Zealand's at the top there. So if your primary country is New Zealand, it's there. And then you have all the other countries listed here as well. So again, great way to prioritize your country at the top there. Maybe you didn't know you could do this, and maybe you're in Italy or France or wherever it might be, South Africa. You can prioritize your country at the top in this billing information here. Let's switch it back to English. Japanese kind of throwing me off. It's always fun to see the translation though. There. Give me one moment here. And all right, we'll switch back to English. All right, let's keep things moving along here with quick tip number 3.
Excellent. Loving these rapid fire tips here. So the last one here for the week, max subcategories that members can select. So this is a little bit of a niche case here, potentially. Maybe not everybody would need to use this feature here, but you can actually limit how many subcategories your members can be listed in. So why might you want to restrict your members in selecting how many subcategories they can choose? Well, this might be a monetization option that you want to go down down. You can create tiered membership plans, which have different category limits. So maybe your free plan or your lower tiered premium plan, members in there are limited to only being able to select, say, 2 subcategories to be listed in, but your more premium members, they can be listed in up to 10 subcategories or an unlimited number of subcategories. So you can create an incentive there for members to upgrade to your more premium plans. You can also encourage members to focus more on their specific niches, their specific specialties. Sometimes, not in all cases, but sometimes members just want to get as much visibility as possible on the website. And so they think that a way to do that would be just to simply be listed in every subcategory, even if it might not necessarily be applicable to their specific specialty. So in this way, if you're limiting them to a specific number, they're kind of forced to choose the subcategories that best represent their specialty, niche, industry, etc. And so by doing this, you can prevent the category overuse for more relevant listings. Again, that's not going to happen in every case, but if you see that might be happening on your website, this might be a feature that you might want to explore. And it's a really simple one. It's a membership plan setting. So again, this is set on a per membership plan basis. So you would just go into finance and membership plans. You would select the membership plan that you want to edit. And then within search visibility, you'll find the maximum sub-level categories members can select option in there. And then you have a few options for what you can put in there. You can just put a number. So if you only want members to select up to 5 subcategories, you would just enter 5, or you could enter 0 if you don't want them to be able to select any subcategories. You can also enter the word all, ALL. That will auto list the members in that membership plan into all of the available sub-level categories, or you can type in unlimited. That will still leave the choice up to the members to choose which subcategories to be listed in, but they won't be limited to a specific number. They can choose however many they want.
This is great. And you really hit the nail on the head. Guys, this one is really all about monetization for you guys. It's about creating tiered levels, because being listed in more categories gives the member or the business more visibility on your site. And I think what we also should explain what a subcategory is. We actually have a good thing I can share with you guys here, just to give you a visualization of what a subcategory is. Also, if you don't know about this, in our resources tab on our Brilliant Directory site, we do have a top 100 category import list. So, if you're doing an automotive site, these are general categories for these industries, 100 categories for each. But I'm going to share this link here, and then let's actually take a look at one together. I put that in the comments there for everyone. Let's take a look at the first one here, automotive services directory. Let's look at the preview. So in this case, the top level category is automotive services. So a business joins your site and they select that they do automotive services. And then once they select their top level category, then they can select their sub and sub level category. So, well, do they do auto repair? What kind of auto repair do they do? Auto detailing, auto glass, auto parts. So one thing David mentioned is you want your members to choose not every category, not just go click, 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 and just want to be found for their own self-serving purposes. You want them to actually be mindful about the categories they're selecting, so it does align with their services and they're not kind of just abusing the fact that they could be listed in every category. So that's when you would select, like, with a free plan, you could be listed in 5 sub-level categories. With a higher tiered plan paying, whatever amount per month, you could select 20 sub-level categories. And maybe for $50 a month, you can do a category takeover where you can just be listed in all the categories. And that's, as David said, that's where you would, for that membership plan, you could select all in this setting, and I'll show you where the setting is as well. So the member doesn't even have to bother selecting any sub-level categories. They just choose their top-level category, like automotive or finance, and they'll automatically have visibility in all these subcategories. I call that a category takeover. When it's all, they get full exposure in all the sub-level categories, sub and sub-level, as we can see here, top, sub-level. So let's look at the setting in the admin area. This is a membership plan setting. So again, for higher tiered plans, you can provide them with higher numbers of subcategories they can select. Let's just go ahead and edit a plan here. I'll show you where this is. When you're editing a membership plan, this is related to visibility. So it's in the search visibility tab. And everyone has this. Over here, we see max sub-level categories members can select. So if there's a number here like 5, they can choose 0 to 5 sub-level categories. Maybe they just want to be listed in 2 or 3, but they can choose up to 5. If you put 0, they would not be able to choose any sub-level categories. They would just be listed in their top-level category, but not found for any specific searches, more granular searches. Now, the fun one here, I'm going to zoom in a bit on the browser here because there is help text here. So if you put all, as soon as they select their top-level category, they're automatically going to be found and searchable in all the available, when they select their top level category, they're going to be available to be found in all these sub-level categories. There's no need for them to take any additional action. It's already taken care of for them. Again, I call this just a category takeover. And again, you can monetize this, guys. It's a really good idea. The right terminology is, be listed in X number of categories on our site. So a lower tiered member get listed in up to 5 categories, higher tiered member get listed in up to 20 categories, and so on. Now, the unlimited one is a little different than the all one. The all one automatically assigns them to every sub-level category. There's no additional work needed. The unlimited one sets no cap on how many they can choose. So if you have 100 sub-level categories, the user can choose from 0 to 100 of the categories they want to be listed in. Basically, it's unrestricted limit for them up to the available amount of subcategories. So there's unlimited, where the user can choose however many they want without the number restriction. There's all, which automatically assigns them to all the sub-level categories under that top level category. There's a number, 1 through whatever, that's the max they can select. And then there's 0. So again, this is a great monetization tool, especially for business directories. If you're industry focused, maybe you're an attorney directory, and then the subcategories are the specializations of the attorney. And of course, they want more visibility for all the different services or areas of law that their firm might cover. So they would want more sub-level categories to list in. You can just tell them to list in more categories as the terminology there. I think that covers it pretty well. I don't think we have to go into any specific examples there. I think we had an article to share on that. Let me see here. How to select categories as a member. This is a good one about choosing your top and sub-level categories. I'll share this in here. And there was one more on this topic. How to place, this is a good one. How to place the top and sub-level categories on one form. So when you're signing up as a member, this is a little more technical. We don't need to get into it too much, but in the first tab, they put their name, their company, their phone number, and there is a best describes you field. That is actually them selecting their top level category. And then they do their profile photo. And then on the next additional details tab, they're choosing their sub-level category. So it kind of separates the process. They first choose their top level category and then see their sub-level category. But this article shows you how to put them stacked on top of each other if you want to make that into a seamless workflow. I think that's all I had on those ones. I think anything else we should cover on this one, David?
I think that covers it. And I think that second support document you shared about putting them all on one form, if you're a little more tech savvy, you want to take on a little bit of a project, I think that's a great one as well, just to kind of make the user flow a little bit better so that when they're selecting their top category and their subcategory, it's all in one place right in front of them there.
Awesome. All right, guys, we got plenty of time for Q&A. You can type in your questions. We have a few startup on our back end here. We'll address those questions. If you want us to unmute your microphone, we can do that. You have to go to brilliantdirectories.com/stream and just type question in all caps in the chat. That'll indicate to us that you want to be unmuted and brought into the presentation. Otherwise, feel free to type in your comments, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or on this stream page as well. All right. And as I like to say, let the games begin with the Q&A. Let's see. I'll just start at the bottom of the list here. Jason, any plans to add easy editing features like WordPress for blog posts? This is a great helpful feature for BD members. Please prioritize this one. I have good news for you, Prakash. You can bring the design blocks, the content blocks when you are doing your blog posts. Let me show you an example of how you can enable that. Let's go to this test site here. I might have to update some settings, but I'll let you know all the settings I'm changing. Let's actually log in and create a blog post as an example here on this test site. Let's click Edit Post. All right, let's scroll down. So this is the blog post. We're doing a test here. And if we scroll down, we can see here, this is the text editor. And we do have pre-made blocks here. I'll show you how we got this here. But here you can add any of the pre-made blocks here. So you can do a few things, actually. You can drag in your pre-made blocks. Of course, you can change the default text and images. And what's cool, what we added more recently is if you click on these are all tables, we call them, these content block tables. If you click on it, you can actually move them. So I'll just move this above here. So you can actually edit your blocks and then move them around as needed. I do say the one thing we are missing here is a full screen mode. Obviously, this is a small limited space here or a taller window here. I'm going to make a note of that, actually. Basically, taller window or full screen in the front end text editors. I think once you have that, that should be a good precedent. But to answer your question, editing features like WordPress, not totally sure. You do have the full text editor here. You also have code view that you can dive into if you're familiar with diving into the HTML. But then again, you do have the pre-made block. So how did I get this here? There are several Froella editors that we have. Let me show you how we did this. Let's go to this form. This is a form for the blog post. And if we go to the form manager, right, because you can add additional fields you want for different post types, but let's just look for blog here. And I'll just customize this on this site. And I think it's towards the bottom here. So if we look at the Froella text editor, there are several. So there's the basic text editor. That's like for your members about section. There's a text editor for image upload. So if you want to allow your members to upload their images, let me remove this from the screen so it's a little easier to see. Also, this scrollable banner. Great. So you can choose the form field type, but the two here that have the pre-made elements is this one here, the image upload with the pre-made elements. Or the one for you, the admin of the site, which actually when you're in the text editor on the front end, you have access to your media manager images. You really don't want to give that one to the Froellas or the text editors that your members are using. But this one here is the one that you can enable safely for all the different post types. Maybe for your classifieds, maybe you want to give this ability to your members when they're creating their posts. Some people don't. They just want them to have uniform descriptions, just plain text. But again, you can have the pre-made elements with either of these two. Again, I would not recommend assigning the media manager one for any post types or forms used for post types that are admin only. So I hope that helps a bit. All right, let's go back to the questions here. All right, Adam. Hey, Adam, good to see you here in the webinar. He says, I've created a form that I've added an image upload. I tried to clone it, but it would only let me have one image upload field. So you are most likely using the add-on for the file uploads for forms. Let me just quickly show everyone where that is. And what this allows you to do is if you're creating custom forms, you can allow the person filling out the form to upload various media such as TXT files, images, PDF files, and more. They'll have a thing here to choose file upload. You may want to email support on that one, Adam, but I'm going to show you something quick that you can potentially troubleshoot. Let me just add a field here. And let me see if I have the file upload. I do. I'm just going to call this test 1, and I'll save the changes. And the only thing that I would say is make sure the database variable name is different. So if you're cloning the field, it should add a copy here, and then it should work from everything that I know. Let me remove the question here so you can see the test copy here. So I just cloned the field here, And you can see it's adding the word copy here. So it might have an issue. Every field needs to have its own unique database variable. If that's not the issue, I would just recommend raising a support ticket, just allow the support team to recreate the issue you're experiencing, and they'll be happy to troubleshoot that for you.
Actually, I believe each individual file upload field, I believe each one needs its own additional field CSS class in the outer element ID. I'll share the support document that we have for this add-on in the chat here. It's actually mentioned in there as well.
Got it. So this field here, additional field CSS class, just give it a class like test1 and test2. You're referring to?
In our support document, we have file style _ upload CV. And then the outer element ID, that field needs to be unique on each upload field.
Got it. Yeah, I see here outer element. So maybe the outer element, or basically, I guess, Adam, make sure that the outer element ID and the has a unique value for each of them. It probably cloned it with the same or something like that, but that should help fix the issue. Otherwise, again, we invite you to reach out to the support team for more guidance on that. Thank you for finding that, David. All right, let's see here. Hans, love Die Hard 1. All right, Hans. Hi, gents. I'm about to start my second BD site. Congratulations. Please add payment gateway for Indonesia, such as Zendit. That will be a great and super useful addition. Thank you, Hans. I will make a note of it. The adding payment gateways is a little more tricky, but I think we're working on a newer system since we launched Razorpay to for at least most other payment gateways, make it a more seamless process. But we will look into that as a suggestion. And just if you can type in, Hans, what other payment gateways are not supported in Indonesia, or that we do have that are supported in Indonesia, or is it Zendit just a preferred gateway that you're after and there is no other solution for Indonesia? I know we have a lot of users out there, so we definitely want to help support that market. So we'll look out for an updated comment from Hans if he does type that in for us. All right, we got our good friend Tony here. Can we get a filter for published non-expired events? That way we can quickly see if they've been already posted. So,
and just to add some context there, he also said that expired events many times end up burying the still active or future events.
Yeah, there is a setting, and we get a filter for published non-expired events. So we want, I'm a little confused, but let me show you the settings that are available.
So he only wants to have an option to only display the non-expired events. So
got it.
Either upcoming events or events that are currently happening, and disregard all of the past or expired events.
Okay, let me see if my memory is showing here correctly. There is a setting where you can, that was something new we added, where if you do a date search in the past, so if you're looking in the past, it would show even expired events because you've done a search for the past. But if you're doing a search for a date in the future, you will not see those already finished or expired events. I'm having a hard time remembering exactly where it was. Let me just search the advanced settings for something for events. Let's see here. No, it's not here. I'll do one more search here. There is something there, Tony, that we have. Let's see here. Expired events. Yeah, I'm not finding the setting off the top of my head or remembering the name of it. But Tony, do us a favor. If you email the support team, I'm 95% confident there's a setting to just never show expired events in the search results for any search. They might have more insight on that. I know there's something there though for that. Thank you. Okay, let's keep moving along there. Here we go. We got a good friend Lisa here. Is it possible to stream events, members, blogs, and top categories within the member dashboard? I love how this feature works on the homepage and would love to see similar options in the member dashboard to help boost engagement. There might be ways to do that, actually. The dashboard might get a bit cluttered, but let me just do a quick test here. And then I'm going to give you an alternate option as well, which I think might work a bit better for you. Let me see what we have on the homepage of this site for a moment. And let me just see what we're streaming. So we're streaming recent members here. Let me just get the name. This is going to be using widgets. So we're just going to do a little copy paste here. Let me get this widget name. So this is the, let's copy the shortcut here. So this is, for example, for recent members. The same would work for events. Basically what you want to do is you want to do the show widgets. Now it's hide widgets, but it shows you what the outline is of the section. So you'll see the one for events and whatnot. It lets you know what widget to grab. If we come to, let's do this together here. Let's go to the dashboard here for this member. This member is the admin blog author membership plan. So let's edit that membership plan. 50-50, this is going to work without any issues right off the bat. So go to the membership plan, edit the admin blog author. And I suspect that you're already familiar. Let me hide the message here. You're already familiar with adding stuff to the member dashboard. So you do that in the first tab here. We actually did a webinar on that before too. That's when the member logs in and they see, you know, welcome messages and whatnot. So let me see where this would be here. This would be under member dashboard. And if we scroll down to the member dashboard tab, and if we scroll down, we can see dashboard header content. And let's just use the text editor. You can also put a widget, a custom widget that you have here, but let's just do the text editor. And I'll just paste in the recent members and save the changes. There we go. So let's see if we refresh this here. I don't know what it's going to look like, but here we go. We can see meet our newest members. So you can certainly do that, and you could do the same thing with the events. Again, go to your homepage, hit the Show Widgets button, get the name of the widget, and paste it in the membership plans dashboard, custom dashboard content, dashboard header, or you can do it in the footer. You can put it underneath the other content. I just pasted it in here. My other suggestion would be, we recently released the ability to have a separate and different main menu when members log in. So the public main menu when members are not logged in can be, you know, geared towards joining the site, searching the site, but perhaps when they're logged in, we can remove, let's say one of these links was join the site. We could say like my content or my stream, and you can create a web page that's members only and link it here. And that page can then stream the content. So you can keep, you know, you can have my dashboard and then my content or my stream, whatever you want to call it, or trending now, however you want to name it again, and have it as a link in the main menu. I'm going to share the video that we did on that. That's going to be under main menu, I think. Great video. Yeah, here it is. Enhance the user experience with a custom main menu for registered members or when members are logged in. And then you can create these members only pages that have this streaming content for them, or their direct links to like publish a post. And now in their main menu, they see like publish a post, where when they're not logged in and it's public, it says join our site now. So a great video here. And yeah, so to answer the question in short, it was pretty easy. We did add a streaming section, just copying and pasting the widget name to the dashboard. So good question there, Lisa.
Just wanted to address Tony's previous question about not showing expired events in the search results. There is an additional setting for that. If you edit the event post type and you go to search results design, and then in the additional settings, it's the very last one in there, display expired posts in search results.
See, that's the charming part of brilliant directories. Sometimes you need a treasure map to find exactly which set. There's a lot of settings. It's a gift and a curse, but I was looking in the general settings tab initially. So it's in the search results design, additional settings, and you mentioned if you scroll down,
it should be the very last one.
Display expired posts and results. We're going to set that to no instead of yes, and hopefully that should get you kind of halfway to what you're looking to do there, Tony. Thank you, David. All right, good stuff there. Scroll up here to the top. Got Dominic here. Question for later about subdomains on the BD platform. Is it possible to create subdomains at scale and automated? So when you point your name servers to us to ns1.directorysecure.com and so on, to create a subdomain, I think you would just go to Developer Hub. There isn't an API or an automated way to do it remotely as of now. Basically, you come to your cPanel dashboard in the Developer Hub. I mean, I see these messages are taking up the screen, but again, I don't know exactly where to go. But if you search up, domains, and let's see here, this is your main domain. There's an area, I forgot, I think it's creating an A record or zone editor or something like that. I'm not totally familiar with this stuff, but if you do a search in ChatGPT or something, this is cPanel. It's pretty common to create a subdomain. So let's see, let's just come here. Is that kicking me out? Yeah, domains. Here we go. So you can add an A record, a CNAME, MX. You can create subdomains and so on. So I think this is the right place for it. Can you do it en masse remotely? I think you would still need to log in here and do it, but I think it just takes a second to set it up once you're in here. So if you need to do 5 or 10 or however many you need to do, I hope it's not 1,000, but you should be able to do it here in the cPanel. That you could just Google cPanel, create a subdomain. I think we have documentation on it also. Let me just quickly check. Subdomain. How to connect a subdomain, that's different. How to create a subdomain is what we want. Create a subdomain. There is an article somewhere here on creating a subdomain. Can't find it immediately, but yeah, it should be there if you kind of search in the support center here. All right, good stuff there. Thank you for the question, Dominic. All right, so Steve's asking, so if you're in Japan, then you can simply change the language to Japanese. So there's two different things with the languages that we're talking about. So what the language selection that we covered earlier, Steve, is the entire starting language of your site. So it's going to be in Japanese and it's going to stay in Japanese. If you would like your site to be translated on the fly by users in different regions, you're going to want the tool, basically, where you see like translate this site. You can use the Google Translate add-on. So if the site starts in Japanese, it's for the Japanese market, but you're visiting from France and you want to read it in France, you're going to want here it is, the Google Website Translator. And we're kind of all familiar with this. You get the drop down at the top of the screen, and then you choose the language, and then everything on the screen changes dynamically based on the language that you selected. So to answer your question, choosing the language in your general settings basically sets the main language of your site, and that's what the language is going to be moving forward. And probably the members who are typing in their information, creating posts and their about me, about their business, they're probably going to do it in that language. But for visitors who are visiting from around the world, if you have a lot of them and in your real international market, you may want to consider the Google Translate toggle. It does an 80% good job, in my opinion. So it should just be enough to kind of allow people to figure out what's on your site if they're visiting from different countries and read in different languages. All right, here, let's keep going. Let's get somebody. So here we go, Stephen here. Good friend, Stephen. Yeah, Stephen, right? Yeah, not okay. Stephen, Stephen. I'm sorry. All right. So can I make the search recognize the word and / or the and as the same and thus searchable equally? Okay. So that's a tricky one. Actually, it might require customization. If you're doing a category search, there is a way to do it. As far as a straight keyword search, I don't think it will pick it up. The system doesn't do like what we call fuzzy searches. Fuzzy searches are actually pretty complicated, but you'll see it in applications like Yelp, where they'll actually figure out what you're trying to type in and give the best answer possible. What you can do if you're searching categories is you do have an option to have related keywords. So if you have a category called, for example, chiropractors and back pain as an example, let's just put that out there. What you could do is have a related keyword here that is chiropractor and back pain. You can put a comma here. I guess what you wrote is chiropractor / back pain. So if somebody does search this on your site, it will match it with the main category. That's what the related keywords are for, are variations of the category name. So if someone types that in, it will still suggest the category. Let's actually do it together. Let's save these changes and see what happens actually. So let's copy chiropractor. Let's go to the homepage. I think I have a keyword selection there. Let's check it out real quick. Yeah, here we go. So chiropractor and back pain. So here's the main category, right? So found members here. That's what the auto suggest does. Now let me type chiropractor and back pain. Let's see what happens. We got the same results here. And let's do chiropractor and back pain. And we found the answer here. Now let me just put a bad variable. Let me put or. I didn't add or. We're not going to get any results. But so in a nutshell, might be a little extra work. You can search your categories for which ones have and in it, and then you can kind of just do the word and space or whatever, and you can go and add your related keywords. This one is an add-on here. Let me share the link for that. So it's really good. Like some people might type in chiro or chiropractor, or they might type in doctor or physician, and you don't really want separate categories for those, but you want them to all be found with that keyword. That's really good, helpful here. So the add-on is called keywords for categories. It's basically alternate variations of the category name. Put that in there. Good question. Okay, Steve's asking, what is the category doesn't exist on the list? Can I create it? Yeah, you can. I think you're referring to member categories. Yeah, you can from our pre-made categories. Yeah, those are just starting ones. We kind of did some generalizations for different industries. You are more than welcome to edit, modify, add, remove any of those categories from the top 100s that we had created. Again, they're just broad generalizations of popular categories in certain industries. And we are, of course, encouraged to change it and make it your own. All right, Isaac is asking, what steps do you suggest for restricting a member's access to a custom member's dashboard when their payment has failed and they are in past due status? Is there a method to limit their access? Yes. So basically what Isaac is saying is if a member is not active status, right? If they're past due, they are a past due status, or they're on hold, or even canceled status, basically anything beyond being fully deleted from the site. When they are not active, Isaac, they cannot view members only pages anymore. They cannot like or bookmark things around the site because they're not an active member. So we don't want them like adding to the count of somebody's likes or favorites, and some other things. Now it seems to me like you've added some custom content on their member dashboard so they can see everything in their member dashboard. And it sounds like you've added some members only stuff in the member dashboard, but it's just kind of plain text and content. How to check if a member is active status equals 2. 2 means they're an active member status on the site. I'm going to put PHP here and let's see what it says. That's correct. And this bot's great. It's 100% right 60% of the time, which is fantastic. So yeah, here we go. So if you do this check, user active equals 2, and then wrap this around your content. Again, this is extra. You're asking for extra checks. There is ways to do it. You would do it with code, not with settings. But I'm going to paste this in here for you, and hopefully it provides you with some guidance here. But if you're showing members only special content in their dashboard, they can log into their dashboard because they can remedy their past due and pay it and all that stuff. But if you're showing members only stuff there and it's sensitive information, you might want to wrap it in something like this. Again, you can go to the marketplace, pretty straightforward if you need help with that. kind of stuff. All right, let's take a few more. Oh, we're whittling these down here. I'm going to get to you, Adam, next also after this. So Daniel's asking, I'm wondering all the ways you can customize a member's individual listing on the coding side. For example, can you add a pop-up or change the CSS? I love this question because we did a great video on this. Let's go to the blog here. And what's cool about this video, it goes from all the beginner settings to the more advanced coding settings, exactly what you're talking about with CSS and pop-ups. Here we go. It says it right there, transforming the member profile pages. I'm going to share this with you, Daniel, right here. And it really shows you the possibilities of what you can do. I'm not going to watch the whole video, but let me just go to the end so we can see what the profile was transformed from and to. So let's go full screen here. It's the standard profile. I call this the LinkedIn style, where it's just, the profile and some of their information there. But if we go to the end here, let's see what the end result here. We're doing some mobile stuff. There we go. So you can see what we've done here is we added the cover photo. We moved it up. We added a kind of like a circle design and a border around their image, and we see this white gradient here with some opacity over it, and it's we moved it up into the profile cover image. This is even level one stuff that we did if you're a designer or developer. But to answer your question, yeah, you can add CSS and pop-ups and extra JavaScript and all that good stuff on member profile pages. Good question there. And I think I shared that link in there. Let me check the chats. Yep, that's a fun video to watch. I highly recommend that one. All right, Adam, let me get you here. Also, one important question. I want to sell a product. What's the best way? This is a fantastic question. We also have a video on that. Looks like I lost my slides here. Let me go. All right. So I'm going to share this video with you. We recently revamped the digital products, Adam. Let me actually go to that page here. And with the digital products, before you could just sell a one-off product, you can actually sell subscriptions now. You can take donations, custom amounts, and more. There is a video here. This is the video that you want to watch. I'll share this link with you, Adam. Put it in the comments for everybody. And it's really robust now. There's a couple of things that are missing from this. I don't want to highlight them because what we've packed in this is so good. But start with that. This will exactly allow you to sell products that are not membership plans, right? Like, so you have general users, they might register on your site, or they have business listings and they're part of the, the premium visibility tier. But if you're selling other services like SEO, ebooks, banner ads, like, oh, hey, I want 30 days of banner ads. Okay, use this checkout link. Basically, you can create checkout links with the Sell Digital Products and Services add-on. Which is awesome because whatever you can think of, you can make a checkout link for it. And now you're in business for more than just membership plans. You can monetize your site in 90 different ways now. So good question there. All right. And I think we'll stop there, guys. We're a little over time, but you guys had some really, really good questions. If we didn't get to your questions, you can ask them in the Facebook group. I want to give a big thank you and shout out to David for putting together these slides on the BD quick tips. These are like hidden treasures inside the BD platform, all these different settings that are available. We sometimes forget about them. Huge lab updates the last couple weeks. Again, thank you to the BD community for all your suggestions and feedback to make the platform better for everyone. All right. Again, download that app. You can go to the App Store and search for Brilliant Directories. We will post the replay in the Facebook group. For those of you joining us right now, spoiler alert, I think we're going to do an iPad giveaway in the Facebook group towards the end of this month. So make sure you join brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. For those of you that joined in YouTube land, thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. So right in the middle of March. On behalf of myself, David, and the entire Brilliant Directories family, we appreciate you guys so much. It's always fun being on these webinars and taking your questions. We look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great day and a brilliant week.